So Honda's documentation is pretty good, but still lacking a bit. I don't know if you can read it on camera here, but they show you pretty much everything you need to know. Disassembly, basically we're taking off this inner washer behind the shock on the top, and the rack itself is going to replace that width right there. There doesn't appear to be any washer, spacer, anything like that for the rear, so I'm a little concerned about that resting right on the paint. We'll figure that out as I do it here in just a second. The other thing that they don't list is torque information. Please refer to the service manual. The service manual isn't available here yet because they just released the bike here. I've ordered one through Helm, but it might take a few days, a week, whatever to get here. So, Hope, don't go anywhere. Stay up here. Bang. I just closed it. So, I'll do the disassembly. It shouldn't be a big deal. The reassembly, I'm just going to use 33 foot-pounds as my value because that works for most of the dirt bikes and the stuff that I've worked on in the past. So we'll see if my estimate of 33 foot-pounds is correct. It's a 14 millimeter hex. I've only got the 12-point socket instead of a 6-point. So I've had problems in the past with the thin chrome on these bolts getting chipped off with these 12-point sockets. So what I like to do is pad them with plastic bag, Ziploc bag. I tested it just a second ago to make sure it was going to fit before I went full bore on it. So we're just going to go in there just like that. I hope this is showing up on camera. That acts as a little bit of a buffer. Oh yeah, that was light. That might have been maybe 12 to 18 pounds there. That didn't feel very tight. And we're just gonna do the same thing here. This one's considerably tighter. That one was about 20, 25 foot-pounds. This one was very, very light. Yeah, same here. This one, I mean, maybe 18 on those top ones. That was pretty light. And can I reach it? Yes, I can. This also helps protect my exhaust, which is a smart option here. Oh, that one's on there. That's probably 25 to 30 on that bottom one. Okay, so those are all loosened up. And then the last piece of the puzzle is a 6 millimeter hex right here, Allen key. And I'm not anticipating, yeah, that's not real tight. That was in there about maybe 10 pounds. Okay, so we have a washer, and they're not showing any spacer, padding, anything like that, and I don't have any spare washers right now, so I think what I'll do, I hope I'm getting that on camera. Wait. What I'll do is I'll leave this washer on the inside edge against the paint, and then I'll just run the bolt in without anything on the outside, and I'll pick up some stainless steel washers about this size and just redo the rears later. There's no thread lock on there, it doesn't look like. My son's coming back. He's trying to do the no-footer. He's balancing it. Did I get anything? Did I get anything? My bar end mirrors should be here today. Amazon says they were delivered at 3 this afternoon, but I didn't see anything at my door. That must be it. All right, so I got bar end mirrors that are going to go on at the same time here. All right, so following their instructions, yeah, you can do the unboxing on camera here. Oh, ho, ho. Hindsight CRG, and I got a microphone extension cable. This is a bar end adapter. Oh, tell me there were 2 of these. They only sell them in singles, and I only ordered one. I have to order another one. Is there not another? They sent 1 mirror and 1 bar end adapter. What is that? Okay, so it's going on the left side. See, this one is showing as Hindsight, LS for lane splitter, and it's right side, black. Where's the rest of my stuff? All right, well, that'll have to wait until tomorrow. All right, back to business. Take this off. That guy comes off. We're up on the center stand, obviously, because there's no side stand for this. So that means the rear wheel is going to be unloaded, which you need. Even unloaded, sometimes you kind of have to jack these things up and down a little bit, yep, to free it. I don't want to scratch anything if I can avoid it. Okay, she's off. Now, this is the washer that we're going to be removing. Maybe I can be sneaky and put that on there. They don't mention anything about it in the instructions, but we'll see. Okay, so that's left side. We're gonna try to keep them from rolling away. Sorry, I'm sure the camera's not in a great spot. I can't take them both off or the rear wheel's gonna drop. So I just need to put the shock back on there loosely. We got an outer and inner and an outer. So we're gonna do no inner and just the outers. Okay, so we'll reset this guy. I don't think there was an in and an out, but I did get it back on the same direction. So that needs to be spaced out here a bit. Put that back on there. Actually, that was the inner one. I'll leave that there. This is the one that needs the cap nut. Just go loose. We'll put the bottom one back on, same story. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing with this side. It's hard to hold my chest in the right direction while I do this for the camera. Is there a thickness difference on these? There is. The bottom one is much thinner. I don't know if you can see that in the video. So make note of those. The bottom one is a thinner washer. Top is thicker, inside and outside. Lift up on the rear swing arm a bit and free that guy up. Don't want it to come bouncing off onto the exhaust. Take that off of there, put it right back. Okay. All right, so leave that loose. Thinner one was the bottom. I need to verify that on the other side, make sure I didn't goof those up. Hey, Skeeter. What you doing? What you doing, Squirt? So I have a teenage boy, almost teenage daughter, and a toddler. There's a 10-year spread between my middle and my youngest. Yes, I did get the thin washer on there because I have 2 thick ones left over. Perfect. All right, so now looking at their documentation, it's windy out here, I gotta hang on to these. They're just saying you save that inner washer. You loosen one, you loosen the other. You're saying reuse the outer one, reuse the nut, obviously. You repeat the procedure on the right side. And they're just showing put that bolt straight in, frame into there. They've got no buffer washer of any kind. Not real enthusiastic about that. But we'll see how it goes. I got a couple of these, and I do have thread lock that I'm going to put back in there. And let's see if we can do this gently without... No, it's already going to scuff that fender. I'm already super tight on the fender. I don't know if you guys can see that. It is definitely going to scratch going down. I'm going to put tape on there. It's already super tight. Yep, okay, I'm gonna pause the video, go get some painter's tape. It's the only way to do that without scratching. All right, so I have returned with painter's tape that was obviously laying around getting dirty. Let's see if I can peel this up here. This will pad the finish on the bike and be real easy to remove, hopefully around the edge of that rack. What I'm mainly interested in is just the upper part up here in this area. Sorry, I'm trying to get this on camera. So we're gonna start there, just over the top edge. The mosquitoes are biting tonight. And we're gonna go here, because I'm not sure how that thing swings on there. Okay, so that's one pad. Let's do the same thing on the other side. You can already see where the paint's kind of removed a little bit from the bolt. I'm surprised they don't pad that with a washer of some kind. Not the end of the world, but if I can avoid scratching it, I will. Such a nice paint finish. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Niltiva, something blue. I don't know. Nilvita, that's it. Nilvita blue, I guess. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so that's on there. And it's very tight, so what I'm going to try to do is compress the fender a little and slide it down. Yeah, it would definitely scratch without this. Oh, and see, it's already scratched. Great. Yeah, it cut right through. Look at that. Okay, that's going to be modified right now. Okay, Honda, you're getting on my bad side. I hope that didn't... Yeah, it did. Look at that right there. Cut right through the paint. Son of a bee. That's no bueno, man. How are you supposed to get it on without scratching up your bike? I'll use the wrench for what it was not designed for. Okay, let's see what we get now. There's just no way to get that on there. It is still biting into the paint right there. I'm less than pleased here, Honda. It's already cut my paint. I'm gonna have to go get a bigger hammer out of the garage and just beat this thing into submission. Put it in a vise and crank it out a little bit. Yeah, it is super, super tight. I'm gonna have to put that in a vise. It just doesn't fit. It's too narrow, and even if I try to do this first, you wouldn't be able to get the ears on there, so you have to get that in first.
Hey, outside of the door.
Yeah, I don't think that's going on. Once it goes on, I'm not taking it off. I just don't want a giant scratch. If I can avoid it, nah, it's too tight. That's not going on there. Yeah, see, look, it's already cut through again. It is just too friggin' tight. All right, another intermission. I'm gonna take it into the garage and vise it and just tweak it out a little bit. That's just, it's a bad welding jig that they've got there. It got it too close. All right, so for anybody putting the rack on theirs at home, be real careful. I'm being super cautious with my new toy here, and that rack is not welded correctly. The angles are off on the back, and you can see I've already cut my paint here and all over here, and I was using painter's tape, so that just goes to show how tight and sharp these edges are. And this whole thing is plated, so I don't really want to go filing and sanding on it. I beat it with a hammer a little bit and put it in a vise and bent it out. And you can see it's plated. And what's happening here is the amount of bending that I've already done. You can see it causing the chrome to flake right here because I've stressed this metal. But it's still too damn tight. That's bad work, Honda. Like I said before, I'm a realist and a pragmatist, and if somebody's screwing up, I'm going to call it out. That definitely makes me unhappy. So now I got scars in my paint that I'm going to know are there, even if they're covered up by the edge of this rack. And the top one right here is not going to be covered up by the rack. That's going to be visible. That is really peeving me off. Does the manual tell you to use painter's tape and protect your finish? No. Did they tell you that you're going to have to bang it with a hammer and bend it in a bench vise? No. And it's only fitting now because I have beaten it into submission. But even now, it is still very, very tight. I'm compressing the fender. Obviously, you can't flex that frame because it's pretty heavy gauge. But, I mean, this thing, look at that. It's cutting the tape again. Son of a bee. That is just bad design, Honda. I'm sorry, you suck. That is bad design. You've been building these things for how long and you can't get this part right? No, that makes me mad. I'm not holding back here. I'm going to have to go bend it some more. Yeah, look at that. It cuts right through everything. It is so tight and so friggin' sharp, and it's bent in the wrong position. And I'm hitting the side that is the tight side, so that should be clearancing it. How much further do I have to go, guys? This started out as such a fun exercise, and now I'm all pissed off. Yeah, it's going down now, but I mean, I've literally clearanced this thing 1/8 of an inch or more. And if I've had to clearance that side of it, and I'm not doing it evenly, was this one even going to line up now? What the hell, Honda? At some point, I'm just going to have to go for broke and just go ahead and mash the living shite out of it. It's so tight, I can't get it down there. And I know I'm not reading the instructions wrong. Loosely install the luggage carrier as shown. Insert between the frame and rear cushion. Yeah, we got that much. Loosely install the hard... Yeah, right. Loosely install the hardware. With what, a wrecking ball? Uh-oh, losing my instructions. Those are so important at this point. Give me a break. I've already scratched my new toy. I am not happy. That's as on as she's going to get without me doing something I really don't want to do, which is bang the pios out of it. No, she no going. She ain't no happy. It's cutting. It's cutting way up here, and I can see it, and it's already going to be cutting paint. Yep, sure enough, it's cutting paint. That's a bad rack. That's all there is to it. The rack is just a piece of shit. I'm going to have to go put it in the bench and torque it to the side and clearance it another 1/8 of an inch. Unbelievable. Thanks, Honda. Now I've got scratches all over my left fender from an OEM part that should fit. Without modification, without cursing, and without scratching. Not happy. Not happy at all. All right, so for anyone at home watching that is installing the rear rack on their Cubs, be really careful of the bracket. Honda is apparently not building these things to a very high standard. This left ear mounting tab here was pushed so far in, probably, I would say almost a half an inch in. It was so tight. I've clearanced it out first a couple 16ths of an inch, kept going, kept going, kept going. I've moved it out, I would say at least 3/8 of an inch now, just so it'll clear the upper edge of the fender here. And it's already scratched me up here, and it took a whole bunch of paint. I don't want to move it around again, but it took a whole bunch of paint out right underneath this the bracket edge. So these things are not built to a very good standard, and before you go slapping it on, you might want to be very slow about test fitting it. I was using blue painter's tape to protect the upper edge until I realized it was even biting through all of that down here. So this rack was a piece of junk. If there's an aftermarket unit, go for the aftermarket unit, because I cannot recommend this one at all. This thing's garbage. Maybe it's just the one that I got, but I seem to be having a lot of that luck lately. I don't know what that's about. Okay, well, back to a more positive note. Let's get these back in there. We'll thread lock this guy and we'll put it together. If I can get the thread lock out of my pocket, there we go. So I had to bend this thing so far now that this edge is out, but the top edge is still cutting paint. That's how badly this thing is welded. It's at least a 1/4 inch in, and the bottom throw was in closer to a half an inch too narrow by the time you would get it seated all the way down. Pretty poor. Get this on camera. Just throw a little bit of thread lock gel on there. That did not set the tone for my night very nicely. Now I gotta figure out if I can get the thing to line up at all. How much more paint do I have to lose before I can get it on there? Yep, just cut some more paint. I see it right there. And now, as I tighten it down, it's going to get really dicey because it's going to be compressing this plastic because this bracket is bent so far in. I mean, the jig that they used to weld it, obviously, it was just not set properly at all. Yeah, see, I'm biting plastic up here. So basically my rear fender is damaged and gouged now. And I'm such a perfectionist. I'll probably replace it just because it pisses me off. Sorry, I hate to be negative, but it's annoying. Hey, mosquito, die. Nothing lines up on this rack. Nothing. I'm used to Honda doing a better job than this. And you would think with the Cub having produced 100-some million of these, they would have it down pat. There's no way you could have a washer behind it, not with the way this thing is built. Okay, well, I'm not going to move it around anymore. Those back ones are too tight to monkey with. And I'm just going to snug that. I'm not going to bother cranking it. Probably just break plastic if I do. That's tight. That's snug enough. Now let's put these rear shocks back together. Set my torque wrench for 33 pounds. Prep it, make sure it's clicky clicky. Okay, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm gonna stay with 25 because they didn't feel like they were 33s. That's a little much. Wrong way. Righty tighty. Give me my padding buffer here. I suppose I should have spun those on with the other wrench first. Yep. Or the ratchet, I should say. Okay, it's got some positive tension. Let's do the same with this guy. A little bit of tension. Thought I got you tighter, I guess I didn't. Okay. That one's got tension. As you can tell, I try to take care of everything as I'm doing these procedures to not damage or scratch anything. So that's why that makes me so stinking mad. That's just piss poor design and craftsmanship there. Get on there. Okay, let's torque this monkey down and be done with it. Click, click. .25 top and bottom. We'll hope that that's about right in lieu of a service manual or documentation that tells you what to do. Okay. Get off. Okay then. So now the rear rack is on there. Less than pleased, but it's on there. And it looks like I did get a second delivery. My wife came out to tell me a minute ago when I was busy being angry at the rack. Let's see if this is my other mirror. Yep. That's really odd. Why did they ship it like that? Nope, that's not. So I only got one. This is another microphone that I was going to use to record ambient on the rides and then mix in my voice later if that is any interest. So apparently these are one and done. I'm gonna have to order a second one of these bar end adapters. Okay, I'll stop the video here. I'll make the bar end mirrors a separate video.